Hello everyone and welcome to my Hip Hop Gossip For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Diddy was given a bond hearing, but the government anticipated protests. Diddy is awaiting trial on allegations of sex trafficking, conspiracy to commit racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Sean Diddy's Combs is frantically trying to get out of jail before his criminal trial starts in 2025, and a court gave him a glimmer of hope. A hearing for Diddy's application for bond was set for November 22 by Judge Arun Subramanian, according to court documents that All Hip Hop was able to obtain. Prosecutors were instructed by Judge Subramanian to reply to Diddy's motion by Friday. On November 20, the disgraced hip-hop mogul must respond. On November 8, Diddy's attorneys submitted a second application for bond. They asserted that fresh evidence refuted the prosecution's justifications for keeping Diddy in custody and offered a far more robust bail package. The evidence clearly shows that the government's case is weak, Diddy's lawyers argued. It demonstrates that the defense's first account of what happened in the March 2016 video footage was inaccurate. The film gives a brief look into a complicated but 10-year consenting relationship between Mr. Combs and victim 1, thought to be Cassie, rather than proof of a forced freak-off. Furthermore, the government's argument at the first hearing about a possible second accused victim is refuted by the new information. Additionally, the additional information demonstrates that the government's claims of witness tampering and obstruction during the earlier bail hearings were unfounded. Additionally, Diddy's legal team argued that his rights to participate in his defense were violated by the confinement conditions. His attorneys stated, Mr. Combs' release on the proposed conditions is necessary so that he can review the discovery and prepare for trial given the government's amended estimate of the amount of discovery in this case and its unique format including voluminous video and photographic evidence. The recent multi-agency sweep of the facility and the ensuing lockdown demonstrate that, despite the MDC's best attempts to accommodate the defense team's needs, the current system makes trial preparation difficult. The Constitution and the Bail Reform Act require more. Since his arrest in September 2024 on allegations of sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution, Diddy has been incarcerated. The date of his trial is set for May 2025. In a recent interview, Diddy's accuser describes the alleged shooting and car chase. An Atlanta man filed a lawsuit against Diddy earlier this month, alleging that the mogul had shot at him during a car pursuit in the 1990s. The man is now going into detail about his allegations in a new interview. DeWitt Gilmore, who describes himself as an author, entrepreneur, and public figure, gave his version of events and gave an explanation for why he is only now making the accusations in an interview with News Nation on Monday. Herald Square is where we are. I'm on an island now because his security runs me off the road with his sports vehicle at around 1 in the morning, he claimed. When we exit the car and my bodyguard Lance exits as well, we realize he's not alone. Puffy and his bodyguard weren't the only ones. 4 other vehicles were present. They had a ton of men. The next thing I hear is pop, pop, and Lance exclaims, gun! Gun, as everything collapses simultaneously. I don't know how I got teleported out of that situation, but I jump back in my truck, he added. Lance leaps into the truck again. I leap across the island. It's a fast-paced vehicle chase now. I'm walking down one way on pavements. The time is 1 in the morning. Although there isn't much traffic, I was able to essentially get away from this man and his thugs thanks to the traffic that was present. Well, the way to bring a case into court past the statute limitations if you're not sexually assaulted with the New York state laws is new evidence, he said in response to a question about how he manages to circumvent the statute of limitations, which is 1 year for assault in New York. And I've been in contact with Lance as of late, a few months ago. At the time, Lance was my truck security. To put it plainly, Puffy, his wealth, his many aliases, his thugs, his security, and his fan base have all terrified us. Thus, I did two things. First, I reconnected with Lance. He testified in full on what happened that evening. He has never provided whole testimony. Second, as I mentioned, this man's wealth, influence, and power have intimidated many individuals, not just me. Not for nothing, but he could wipe me out in no time with that much power. To tell the truth, I was terrified, but ever since he was imprisoned, I feel comfortable sharing my tale. Last Sunday, Gilmore filed a complaint against Diddy in federal court. Gilmore alleges in the lawsuit that one evening in the summer of 1996, while he was leaving a nightclub and getting into his car, Diddy and a few of his associates stopped up and started teasing and threatening him. The lawsuit goes on to say that when some of those associates reportedly started brandishing guns and shots were fired, the situation became more heated. The lawsuit goes on to say that plaintiff Gilmore and his witnesses were fiercely pursued through the pitch-black city streets out of fear for their lives. They narrowly avoided a possibly fatal ambush by speeding through traffic. Gilmore claims that he filed the lawsuit after recently getting back in touch with a witness from that evening who had been separated for decades. This reconnection highlighted the intensity of the encounter with Sean Combs, bringing forth new insight and testimonial evidence surrounding the events of that night, he wrote in the lawsuit. Because of the particular conditions of intimidation and safety concerns that delayed previous action, the witness account serves as recently discovered evidence, significant enough to reopen the case beyond the usual statute of limitations. For emotional distress, physical harm, lost opportunities, and reputational damage, Gilmore is requesting $5 million. As we've stated previously, Mr. Combs cannot respond to every new publicity stunt, even in response to claims that are facially ridiculous, Diddy's attorneys informed HIPHOP DX in reference to Gilmore's lawsuit. The facts and the fairness of the legal system are completely trusted by Mr. Combs and his legal team. The truth, that these charges are untrue, will win out in court. According to a woman, she was invited to one of Diddy's 2018 freak-offs, and saw children among the adults. According to alarming allegations made by a partygoer at one of Sean Diddy Combs' infamous freak-offs, she saw children dressed up like Harajuku Barbies. In 2018, a budding singer-songwriter told TMZ that she received an invitation from a Saudi prince to attend one of Diddy's private parties. In the documentary TMZ presents the downfall of Diddy, Inside the Freak-Offs, Tania Wallace described her experience. Wallace told the source of an all-night party that lasted until after 7 in the morning and had groups of people who appeared to be intoxicated having